We mentioned this story a little bit earlier. It is one that's quite sensitive, so if you've got youngsters nearby, if you're in a car, just to warn you about that. It's the Channel 4 soap opera Hollyoaks, which has turned to a Manchester charity for advice on dealing with a hard-hitting storyline. This week, viewers will see the character of John Paul raped by one of his male pupils after months of homophobic bullying. Well, Survivors Manchester is a voluntary organisation for men who've experienced sexual abuse and rape, and they've helped actor James Sutton, who plays John Paul, to research the storyline.
We got Survivors Manchester involved, who run a support group for men that have been through rape and sexual abuse, and they've been an absolute wealth of help and knowledge and support for us. Duncan, who runs the place, has been absolutely fantastic, has been on board the whole way with research, and he's given me things to read and DVDs to watch, and he's been at the end of the phone if we need any help, and it's just been, I can't thank them enough for all of their support and all their help.
Well, let's hear from Duncan. That is Duncan Craig, who is from Survivors Manchester. Good afternoon, Duncan.
Afternoon, Phil.
Good to talk to you. What's it been like then working with the Hollyoaks cast on this?
It's been absolutely fantastic. I can't thank them enough for making a commitment to tell this story, but tell it properly. Of course, Hollyoaks is a TV programme, and there's always going to kind of be a bit of a drama around it. But what I do have to say is that they really have taken the story and really kind of wanted to unpick it to make sure that what they do say, they're saying it properly, to ensure that anybody out there that's watching the programme that maybe gets triggered by what they're seeing knows that there are people out there that can help.
Yeah, and you've been mentioned a lot in association with the storyline. It's received a lot of press. How much impact do you think this is going to have on the charity?
Huge impact. I was actually looking at figures the other day for a report that I was writing for hopefully some funding that we want to try and get hold of, and we've seen a 65% increase on the whole of last year, which is just unbelievable. We're kind of getting to the point now where we're working to a capacity, and we're having to look at how can we best manage the referrals for support, because we want to make sure that we don't want people sat there on waiting lists that it's so difficult for people to speak out, and I think not to say that it's any more difficult for men than it is for women. There's just an extra difficulty that when boys and men do speak out, that we can kind of give them the support they need straight away.
And I suppose there's an irony there, isn't there? Because are you slightly encouraged about the fact that more people are coming forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think, post Operation U-Tree, post Savile, and post really high-profile cases that have been in the newspapers, it's really started a conversation, and Hollyoaks and what they're doing is really going to feed into this, because I suppose because of the young people that watch this, it's opening a debate, it's opening a conversation, it's opening the silence that has just been around for so long, that this doesn't happen to men. It only happens to gay people, which completely isn't true. So to have this level of conversation, whether it's on radio or in the newspapers or even on social media, the response on social media has been fascinating, with young people talking to young people and arguing and debating around how this can happen. It really does lay the ground for people to step forward.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to social media, Hollyoaks, I think it's one of those trended soap operas, isn't it? Just because of the profile of the programme. Just looking back at Christmas and New Year, are there any evidence that you get more of these stories coming at a time of year which is often quite difficult?
I think we don't necessarily get more people contacting us at Christmas and New Year, but what we do get and what we do learn from the men that come forward and talk to us is that Christmas and New Year is particularly difficult. Every message that is sent out is about family, it's about loving, it's about everyone kind of being together, and for lots of men, they're sort of suffering in isolation, whether they're with their family or not. It can bring up so many bad memories for people that what happens is that people end up really suffering in isolation over Christmas, and actually January time, the New Year, I think there's such a push by everybody to New Year's, fresh start, that actually people do step forward. So we've always seen an increase in referrals around this particular time anyway.
And you just mentioned there that you're looking for new funding. I'm sure that is one of the things that is a constant battle in a charity like yours. Again, will this help, do you feel, this high-profile storyline?
I really hope so. I really do, because what I think this high profile is doing is it's raising the level of consciousness for commissioners and funders and politicians to say, actually, when we're talking about rape and sexual abuse, we have to stop talking about it in terms of just affecting women and girls. It affecting boys and men. It affects women and girls in a much higher proportion that we know of, but we really need to start peeling back the layers of this and look at what's really going on.
Duncan, good to talk to you as always. Duncan Craig, who is from Survivors Manchester on BBC Radio Manchester, and that storyline played out this week on Hollyoaks. That's on Channel 4 at 6:30.